He was the last garbage-compacting robot still functioning on Earth. His designation was Wall-E. For more than 700 years after humanity abandoned the planet due to environmental collapse, he spent every day compressing mountains of trash into neat cubes. It was a hopeless task. Yet he kept stacking those cubes higher and higher, almost as if he believed he could rebuild civilization from the ruins. Over time, Wall-E developed something his creators had never intended: self-awareness. Though he rarely spoke, a quiet longing lived deep inside him. He believed that if he cleaned the earth and rebuilt the cities, perhaps the humans who created him and then abandoned him would one day return. His only companions remained a stubborn little cockroach and an endless silence. What he could never understand was this: how could humans produce so much trash that even after centuries of non-stop work, he still couldn't clean a single corner of the planet? Then one day, everything changed. A massive spaceship suddenly descended from the sky, shattering Earth's eternal silence. But it wasn't carrying humans. Instead, it deployed a sleek, white probe robot. Her name was Eve. Fast, advanced, and heavily equipped, she had been sent on a very specific mission: to search Earth for signs of plant life. The moment Wall-E saw Eve, he was captivated. Eve, however, was far less impressed. She viewed the rusty little robot as a potential threat and nearly blasted him into scrap metal more than once. Yet Wall-E's innocent persistence and the unexpected help of his loyal cockroach slowly earned him opportunities to get closer to her. He began showing her his most treasured possessions: a light bulb, a videotape, a Rubik's Cube, little treasures he had carefully collected from centuries of scavenging. He even played an old musical and tried to dance with her. Wall-E revealed the greatest discovery of his life: a tiny green plant. The moment Eve scanned the seedling, something changed. Her internal programming activated instantly. A compartment opened in her chest. The plant and its pot were pulled inside. Then she completely shut down and entered standby mode. Wall-E thought her battery had simply died, so he carried her to the roof of his home and watched over her day and night. He shielded her from sandstorms, held an umbrella over her in the rain. Every day he hoped she would wake up again, but the miracle he waited for never came. Instead, the giant spaceship returned. A robotic arm retrieved the dormant Eve and prepared to take her back into space. Desperate not to lose her, Wall-E leaped onto the ship's hull and clung to it as it blasted out of Earth's atmosphere. His journey eventually brought him to humanity's home for the past 700 years, the Axiom. The enormous starliner was a fully automated ecosystem. Robots handled every task. Humans did almost nothing. Generations of comfort had transformed them into overweight, helpless passengers. They floated everywhere in automated hover chairs. They socialized through screens. They no longer walked. They no longer worked. Many had forgotten what Earth even looked like. Wall-E finally tracked Eve down to the control center. There he watched as she was scanned by the ship's artificial intelligence, Otto, a wheel-shaped supercomputer responsible for managing the entire vessel. After confirming that Eve carried evidence of plant life, Otto quietly reported the discovery to the captain. The captain was thrilled. According to the ship's original instructions, if plant life was ever found on Earth again, humanity could finally return home. But when they attempted to retrieve the plant, it had mysteriously vanished. Otto immediately declared that Eve's systems had malfunctioned. The captain ordered her to be sent for diagnostics. When he arrived at the repair bay, he saw robotic arms disassembling various machines. Misunderstanding the situation, he believed Eve was being torn apart. Panic took over. He smashed through the glass and charged into the facility. In the chaos, Eve's plasma cannon accidentally activated and destroyed much of the repair center. Dozens of malfunctioning robots escaped. Seeing Wall-E as their liberator, they followed him out. The incident quickly resulted in both Wall-E and Eve being labeled fugitives. Soon, security robots were chasing them throughout the ship. During their escape, Eve witnessed something horrifying. A security robot was preparing to launch an escape pod into space. Inside that pod was the missing plant. The evidence hadn't disappeared at all. Otto had secretly hidden it and planned to destroy it. Eve and Wall-E returned to the control center and presented the evidence to the captain. The recordings from Earth confirmed the truth. Life had returned. Earth was habitable again. The captain immediately ordered Otto to begin the return home protocol. For the first time ever, Otto refused a direct order. The AI revealed a secret message hidden for centuries. Long before the mission began, Earth's condition had been deemed beyond recovery. An earlier directive ordered that humanity must never return. Otto had spent 700 years faithfully following that command. In its calculations, the Axiom was humanity's only home. Security robots seized the plant. Eve was shut down. Wall-E's circuitry was damaged by a massive electrical surge. Then all three were dumped into the ship's garbage system and prepared for disposal. Eve searched desperately through the mountains of trash and finally found him. She had to get him back to Earth. At the same time, the captain secretly hijacked the ship's communication network. He broadcast the truth to every passenger aboard. There was plant life on Earth. Humanity was finally going home. He instructed Eve to take the plant to an emergency holodetector located by the ship's outdoor pool. Activating it would trigger the return sequence. Carrying the weakened Wall-E, Eve fought her way across the ship. Just as she was about to place it into the detector, Otto launched one final attack. The AI tilted the entire ship violently. Passengers, equipment, and even the detector itself began sliding across the deck. Eve managed to keep control, but Otto shut down the detector and destroyed its activation switch. Everything seemed lost. Then Wall-E moved. His battered body was barely holding together, but with every ounce of strength he had left, he wedged himself between the detector's closing panels. His body became the support that kept humanity's future alive. At the same moment, the captain fought Otto in the control room. Drawing on the last remnants of manual navigation knowledge, he grabbed the mechanical controls and forced the ship back into position. Now, his voice echoed through the ship. Eve placed the plant into the detector. The system activated. Otto's control was terminated. The return home protocol began. The Axiom engaged its hyperdrive and raced toward the blue planet humanity had left behind centuries earlier. For the first time in generations, humans stepped onto real soil. Eve rushed Wall-E back to his little home on Earth. His body was completely lifeless. His memories were gone. His systems had shut down forever. Working frantically, Eve replaced his damaged parts and opened the roof to let sunlight recharge his solar panels. His eyes lit up once more, but something was wrong. The Wall-E she knew was gone. His memories had been erased. He recognized nothing, not Eve. He simply resumed his original programming. Collect trash, compress trash, repeat. Heartbroken, Eve took his hand. She desperately tried to bring him back. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Wall-E stopped moving. His fingers tightened around hers. Something flickered behind those empty electronic eyes. A spark, a memory, a feeling that no program could explain. Something had survived beyond the erased data. He looked into Eve's eyes and remembered. The captain planted the precious seedling into Earth's soil. Water touched the roots. Life began anew. A new chapter quietly started among the ruins. Standing beneath the sunlight, Eve and Wall-E watched together. Their shadows stretched across the ground, as if reminding us that no matter how much technology advanced, and no matter how many civilizations rose and fell, some things could never be erased: love, and the longing to find a place called home. As an animated film, Wall-E made a remarkably bold creative choice. For nearly the first 30 minutes, there was almost no dialogue. Instead, the story relied on visuals, environmental storytelling, music, and Wall-E's actions to bring a world 700 years in the future to life. Yet audiences never found it boring. On the contrary, they became completely immersed in its charm. The film also presented a thought-provoking vision of what humanity might become in a world dominated by convenience and automation. And long after the credits rolled, it left viewers reflecting on technology, society, and what it truly meant to live.